Have you ever felt the silence in your home grow louder with age? Do you wonder what it truly means to wake up and face the day alone? Not just now and then, but every single day. And what if solitude in your senior years could actually become a source of strength instead of sadness? These are the quiet questions many people only begin to face when it's already happening. When the house is no longer filled with laughter, when meals are eaten in silence and the day passes without a single voice heard. Growing old alone isn't something most people prepare for, and when it comes, it can feel confusing, even overwhelming. But here's something important to remember. Being alone doesn't have to mean being lonely, not in your 60s, your 70s, or beyond. There are specific actions, grounded in both real-life experience and psychological research, that you can take today to remain mentally sharp, emotionally balanced, and physically strong, even when no one else is around. In this video, we'll walk you through 4 essential habits every older adult should build if they find themselves living alone. These aren't just comforting ideas or surface-level tips. They're powerful, practical routines that truly make a difference. Whether you've been living solo for a while, or you're simply thinking ahead to what your later years might look like, this guidance is here to help you shape that chapter into one that's not only manageable, but also deeply meaningful. Because no matter your age, no matter who is or isn't standing beside you, you still deserve peace, purpose, and dignity. And make sure to stay with us until the end of the video. The final tip might just transform the way you view solitude and help you tap into a quiet strength you didn't know you had. It's something that has already helped countless seniors not just get by, but actually thrive. Let's begin with number 1, a steady daily routine. When you're suddenly living alone, especially in older age, one of the first things that begins to slip away is your sense of structure. Days start to blur together, meals become irregular, and the motivation to even get dressed can slowly fade. But having a simple, predictable rhythm to your day can act like an anchor. It gives your mind stability, your body consistency, and your spirit a sense of direction. When you're no longer surrounded by people coming and going, no more meetings, visitors, or regular appointments, the boundaries of time begin to blur. You may find yourself eating breakfast in the early afternoon, lounging in your pajamas until dusk, or suddenly realizing you've lost track of what day it even is. At first, this might feel harmless, maybe even relaxing. But over time, that lack of structure slowly erodes your mental sharpness and emotional stability. That's why creating a steady, daily routine is one of the most powerful gifts you can give yourself. It doesn't need to be rigid or overwhelming. You're not trying to fill every hour with activity. Instead, you're establishing a gentle structure, a beginning, a middle, and an end to each day. It's about giving your life a shape, especially when the external world feels quieter than it used to. Start by waking up at a consistent hour. Wash up and get dressed, even if you're not going anywhere or expecting anyone. Prepare a real breakfast, not just a snack, and sit down to enjoy it. Build in time for movement, whether that's light stretching, a walk around the block, or simply stepping outside for some fresh air. Reserve part of the day for a hobby, a favorite show, or reading something uplifting. Eat dinner around the same time each evening, and when the day winds down, turn off the lights at a reasonable hour. These small rituals do more than fill the hours. They ground you. In the absence of social interaction, a daily routine gives your mind something solid to rely on. Psychologists often emphasize that we're hardwired for rhythm. Regularity gives our brains a sense of safety, and as we age, that rhythm becomes even more crucial. It helps lower anxiety, supports deeper sleep, and even promotes better digestion and cognitive function. Take Walter, for instance, an 81-year-old widower. After his wife passed, he shared how he completely lost his sense of time. The days all felt the same, like a fog that wouldn't lift. But once he began setting a daily rhythm, starting with small acts like making his bed and opening the curtains each morning, he began to feel a sense of control return. Over time, he added a short walk after breakfast and a quiet cup of tea before bed. These simple habits transformed his days from blurry to meaningful. When you're living alone, time can start slipping away before you notice. but that doesn't mean you have to let it. A steady routine offers structure, even in solitude. It may not be visible to others, but it's a powerful form of self-care. And it's something you will feel deeply in your clarity, in your mood, and in the quiet pride of knowing you are still showing up for yourself every single day. Number 2, gentle movement for a stronger body and a clearer mind. One of the quiet challenges of aging alone is how easily stillness can take over. You wake up, sit in a chair, maybe move to the kitchen, then return to that same chair. Hours pass with hardly any motion. Days slip by without much energy. And slowly, that stillness starts to shape your body. Your back grows stiff, your joints begin to ache, your balance feels less certain. Before you know it, even the simple act of standing becomes a struggle. But here's something many people overlook. You don't need a gym membership, a detailed workout plan, or fancy equipment to keep your body strong. What you do need is consistency and a quiet determination to move, gently but regularly. Small steps matter more than you think. A little movement, done often, speaks volumes to your body. It tells your bones, your muscles, and even your brain, I still need you, I'm still here. Moving your body doesn't just strengthen your frame, it lights up your mood, sharpens your thinking, and keeps your memory more resilient. It could be as simple as stretching your arms while the kettle heats, walking to your mailbox and back, or standing up and sitting down 10 times from your favorite chair. Each of these moments sends a signal that you're still living with intention. Research shows that even light movement in older adults can lower the risk of depression, help improve sleep quality, and slow down cognitive decline. This isn't just about your legs or your heart, it's about your peace of mind, your clarity, your confidence. Take Eleanor, a 78-year-old woman who lived alone in a quiet neighborhood. After her husband passed, she found herself staying inside for days at a time. Her knees ached, she felt exhausted even after a full night's rest, and life felt dull. One morning, she simply walked to her mailbox. The next day, she did it again. Within a few weeks, she was walking the whole block. It didn't transform her life overnight, but it gave her something to wake up for. She said she felt more awake, less anxious, and proud of her body again. This isn't about becoming an athlete. It's about protecting your independence and preserving your freedom. Every small stretch, every little walk, is a quiet promise to yourself. I want to keep living on my own terms. Gentle movement keeps your spirit engaged and your body capable. You're not just keeping your limbs active, you're keeping your life in motion. It also reconnects you with the world around you. A short walk around the block might lead to an unexpected wave from a neighbor, the warmth of the sun touching your face, or the sound of birds singing in the distance. These seemingly small moments matter more than we often admit. They gently remind you that even if you live alone, you're still part of a living, breathing community. That's why it's so important to move a little each day, not because anyone is watching, but because you're still here. Your body, no matter its age, deserves to be used, respected, and lovingly maintained. With each step, each stretch, you're telling yourself, I still matter. I'm still moving forward. If you've made it this far into the video and you're finding these insights helpful, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're still with us. And if you haven't already, take a moment to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss another video. Your support helps us keep creating thoughtful, informative content designed to uplift and empower you. Now, let's continue with number 3, meaningful connection in small, steady doses. As we age and begin living alone, silence can take on a new shape. Sometimes it feels peaceful, like a long exhale. Other times, it weighs heavy on your chest, making the hours feel longer and the house feel larger. You might go an entire day, or more, without hearing your name spoken aloud. And even if you're someone who's always valued solitude, too much isolation can start to quietly wear away at your emotional strength. But staying connected doesn't require a packed calendar or a crowd of close friends. It doesn't mean forcing yourself into noisy events or pretending to enjoy socializing when you don't. True connection can be found in the smallest of interactions: a brief phone call, a simple check-in with a neighbor, or a friendly exchange at the grocery store checkout line. These tiny human moments may seem ordinary, but their emotional impact runs deep. They remind you that you're still here, you're still seen, you're still part of this world. There's real science backing this up. Research shows that seniors who maintain even light social contact tend to have stronger immune systems, experience lower levels of depression, and face a reduced risk of developing dementia. That's not coincidence. It's a reflection of how deeply rooted our need for connection truly is. Think about Richard, 83 years old, living on his own after both of his sons moved away. After his sons moved out of state, Richard found his world shrinking to doctor appointments and television reruns. Days passed without a single real conversation. Then, one afternoon, he decided to leave a note on his neighbor's door, offering to collect their mail while they were away. That small gesture led to a simple thank you, which eventually grew into Saturday morning coffee chats. It wasn't a grand transformation, but it was enough. It gave him something to look forward to, someone who noticed if he wasn't around. If there's someone in your life you've been meaning to reconnect with, why wait? A quick phone call, a sincere message, or even a smile and question to the neighbor you usually just wave at can begin to bridge the gap. These little moments aren't just good for the other person, they breathe warmth back into your own heart. Connection doesn't always have to be about conversation. Sometimes it's found in purpose shared with others. Many older adults discover a deep sense of fulfillment by volunteering, mentoring, or simply offering support to someone else. Whether it's reading stories to children at the library, checking in on another senior, or just being present for someone who needs a listening ear, these acts create connection in meaningful ways. Remember, just because you're alone doesn't mean your value has diminished. Your presence, your life experience, and your kindness still matter, maybe now more than ever. Loneliness doesn't stem from how many people are in your home. It comes from feeling unseen or unheard. And that feeling can be changed with something as simple as one honest conversation, one gesture of care, or one new habit that opens a door. So reach out, even if it feels unfamiliar. Invite someone for a walk, a cup of tea, or a quick chat in the yard. Social connection doesn't have to erase your solitude. It just keeps that solitude from turning into emptiness. You deserve to feel remembered, needed, and emotionally close, no matter where or how you live. Now let's move on to number 4, a personal purpose that gives you a reason to get up. There's a quiet danger that often sneaks into later life, one we don't talk about nearly enough. It's not just the loneliness or the physical changes. It's the creeping loss of purpose. When your work ends, the children are grown, and the daily responsibilities fall away. It can begin to feel like no one needs you anymore, like the meaningful part of life is something you left behind. But let me say this clearly, that feeling is a lie. Purpose doesn't have an expiration date. It doesn't retire. It doesn't vanish the moment people stop knocking on your door. It just transforms. And when you live alone, discovering that new form of purpose might be the most important thing you ever do. Purpose doesn't need to make headlines. It doesn't need to be recognized or celebrated. What it truly needs is to feel meaningful to you. It might be as simple as tending to a row of tomato plants in your backyard, writing letters to your grandchildren, keeping a personal journal, or restoring that wobbly old table in the garage. Maybe it's calling someone each morning to ask how they slept, or recording your life story so your family has something tangible to hold on to. The point isn't how big it is, it's that it pulls you forward. It gives your day shape, your mind focus, and your heart something to lean on. Take Samuel, for example, a 79-year-old man living alone in a quiet house in Michigan. After his wife passed, the silence in his home felt unbearable. Days dragged on, and he couldn't shake the feeling of emptiness. Then one day, he stumbled upon an old typewriter in his garage. He brought it inside, dusted it off, and started typing. Page by page, he recorded memories, the cold mornings in the Navy, the moment he met his wife, the day their daughter was born. He didn't write for an audience. He wrote for himself. And slowly, the emptiness in the house began to lift. There was a new rhythm, a new purpose, and it came from something as simple as putting words on a page. Psychologists have long said that having a purpose, any purpose, is one of the most protective factors for mental health in older adults. It reduces stress, lowers the risk of depression, and has even been linked to longer life expectancy. Why? Because we are not built to drift. We are wired to aim, to reach. And when you have a reason, no matter how small, your life begins to carry meaning again. Your days don't just pass, they matter. You feel grounded, not just alive, but engaged. And here's something beautiful people often overlook. Being alone can actually be a gift. It gives you room to explore without pressure, space to try something new without someone watching over your shoulder. This could be your moment to finally learn to play that instrument you've always loved, to paint with the colors you've never dared to touch, or to read the books you once shelved for later. Later is here now. You don't need an audience to live a rich life. You just need intention. So if this day feels still or heavy, ask yourself gently, what's one small thing I could grow, build, write, share, or begin today? Not for anyone else, but for me? Because your life, no matter who's in it or not, still has depth, still has fire, and still has a reason to rise with purpose. Care for the days ahead, not because someone is watching, not to impress, but for your own peace of mind. When you discover purpose in solitude, you don't just survive it, you transform it. It becomes your quiet strength, a foundation that grounds you. And if you're still watching this video and find these reflections meaningful, I'd be grateful if you comment number 4 below so I know you're with us on this journey. If you haven't subscribed yet, now is a good time to do so. And don't forget to turn on the bell notification. Your support means the world to us. It allows us to keep producing thoughtful content that informs and uplifts those navigating the later chapters of life. Living alone in your senior years is undeniably one of life's most profound transitions. It can feel as though the world has grown still, as if the space around you has stretched wider and quieter. But in that stillness, there's also opportunity, the kind that allows you to reconnect with the parts of yourself that once got buried under years of responsibilities, noise, and rushing through life. Perhaps today's video touched something within you. Maybe you recognized your own quiet mornings or felt the familiar ache of an empty house. You may have even asked yourself, am I the only one feeling this way? The answer is no. You're not alone in this experience. And more importantly, you're not helpless in shaping what comes next. Creating a simple, steady routine. Moving your body gently but consistently. Reaching out to others in even the smallest ways. Embracing a purpose that breathes meaning into your day. These aren't lofty ideals. They're real, accessible tools. Tools that preserve your joy, safeguard your well-being, and gently restore the richness of daily life, even when the chair across from you stays empty. So which of the 4 habits resonated most with you? Is there one you're already doing? And is there one you feel ready to begin tomorrow? We'd truly love to hear from you. Please take a moment to leave a comment below and share a takeaway or a small action you're planning to put into practice. Your words matter, and your presence here matters too. Let us know how you plan to apply what you've learned today. Your reflections mean a lot to us, so don't hold back. Share your thoughts in the comments. We read every one of them, and they truly encourage and inspire us to keep going. If you found this video helpful or meaningful in any way, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might benefit. Your continued support allows us to create more thoughtful content designed to inform, uplift, and empower you on your journey. Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate your time and presence, and we can't wait to see you again in the next video. Until then, take care of yourself and your heart, wishing you good health, lasting happiness, and deep peace. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel to stay connected.